Why is anti-white sentiment so popular among white people, and for how long will this last? So if you've been cursed to peruse Twitter and other social networks and just the general national discourse these days, you'll see a lot of reverse racism going on, a lot of anti-white sentiment, basically in response to what is perceived as injustices against minority communities, specifically African Americans. Now, racism is a really ugly thing, and it affects more types of people than you might think. For example, my grandfather, an Italian, was discriminated against a whole lot during his early years. My father's Mexican, and during his lifetime, there was still a law on the books in Arizona where my parents met that said it was illegal for a woman to marry a Mexican. Also, I grew up partially in Mexico, and as a fair-skinned person there, I received a lot of discrimination by darker-skinned people there as well. It's an ugly thing that affects a lot of people. So then why have we seen white people become so comfortable being blatantly against their own race and expressing pretty bad racist sentiments and trying to mute white people, silence white people, exclude white voices, things like that not only are terrible, but also just affect themselves? So part of this is because they don't really consider themselves as white, or rather, they don't consider themselves as the subject of when you say white people. They don't consider themselves part of that group. It's not an actual anti-race thing by a lot of these people. They don't mean white people, they mean other white people. They mean those people we don't like. And more importantly, it's a pretty powerful tool to attack people you don't like and don't agree with. And of course, in a country that has a majority white population, probably has higher socioeconomic conditions and positions of power, it seems to be just a very efficient, nice tool to eliminate who are most of your competition here as a white person, which is other white people. Now, if these same people would be discriminated against another race, that would be absolutely horrific on two counts. One, when you hate another group, a different group, for who they are, for what they cannot change, that's pretty obscene and disgusting. But on the other hand, if you're part of the more powerful group and you're hating on another less powerful group, that's doubly bad. And I think that's one of the reasons why you see this kind of behavior continue, is because it's not perceived as racist when it's against one's own race, but also it's fighting the power of sorts. Now, how long can we see this kind of behavior continue, this sort of self-destructive, also hate engaging, even though it's sort of hate against one's own race in a way? How long do you think this will actually continue? Pretty much as long as there is some sort of an upper hand. As soon as the people engaging in this anti-white hatred start to actually feel the negative effects of anti-white sentiment against their own white selves, then we're going to start seeing some problems. Because it's easy to say, oh, exclude white, silence white voices and things like that, when you're the one who controls the platform that are telling other white voices they cannot be included. It's easy when those voices don't include you. It's easy when you have a trust fund. It's easy when you are constantly platformed. But when now all of a sudden you have the people saying, silence white voices, having their own voices silenced as a result, even the capability of those voices to say silence other white voices, now they're going to end up into the exact kind of position which is being disenfranchised. And no one really wants to feel that way. No one really wants to feel like no matter what they do, just because of who they are, there's powerful groups of people that will keep them out of success and make them feel like nothing, like worthless, like inferior. That's a terrible, awful thing. And by wishing it upon themselves, certain white people will inevitably end up making it happen against themselves and a lot of other people. When that time happens, you can assure that they will wake up. I don't think that's a good outcome, though. I don't think that people should necessarily get their just desserts, because I don't believe anyone should have to experience hatred, bigotry, racism, any of those nasty things. So let's hope we can never get to that point.